Hi, my name's Willa. Welcome to the Distorted Transmission for today. I'm talking to a band called Black Smoke Trigger. How are you?
Very, very well. Thank you very much.
Well, you're not really a band, are you? You're just one guy at the moment because you're representing the whole band. So if you could introduce yourself, the other members of the band, that kind of stuff, I guess that'd be handy.
Well, my name is Charlie Wallace, and I play guitar in Black Smoke Trigger. And of course, we have our vocalist who affectionately goes as Baldrick, kind of like Madonna. He's a one name guy. And we've got Dan Fulton on bass and Josh Tomato on the drums.
Excellent. I'm a West Auckland hermit. I don't listen to the radio and I don't really engage with reality for the most part. So I often miss the sort of party for things that happen in the big wide world. Black Smoke Trigger is one of those things. And on my research of the band in preparation for this interview, which was earlier today, I discovered that you guys are actually a big deal, way bigger than I had imagined. Can you explain to me how a Kiwi band from Hawke's Bay gets to end up in recording studios in Tennessee, having guest appearances on recordings with the likes of Mick Mars from Motley Crue, and have singles charting strongly overseas? How does a band from Hawke's Bay manage to do that in the space of just a few years?
Well, I've certainly had an interesting journey. One of those, the factors within it is that a long, long time ago, I was teaching guitar in person, one-on-one, and then I could see all these people doing great things on the internet. I started creating online guitar lesson courses, and that ended up creating a company which I had kind of accidentally created called Guitar Mastery Method, which kind of by accident became one of the biggest guitar lesson companies in the world.
Sure.
And in doing that, I got to meet a lot of amazing people. And one of those people was Rick Barker, who was Taylor Swift's first manager. And he kept on saying to me, you keep on coming to the US, but you haven't been to Nashville yet, which is the music capital of the world. And all this time, ever since I've been a youngster, it was like I had this vision of creating the best rock band I could possibly create and writing the best songs that we could write and playing the biggest shows that we could play. And then through a weird, like random sort of, sense of circumstances, we ended up recording with Michael Wagner, because through Rick introducing me to a fantastic guitarist named Ariel, who introduced me to Michael. And he said, oh, do you play in a band? And, you should send me some stuff. And so I sent him some tracks that me and Baldrick, the lead singer, have been working on. And he said, this stuff is right up my alley. If you ever want to work together, then let me know. And that was the moment that we were like, okay, we need to go full force into this. And so we booked in the time. We put together the best band that we possibly could. And we effectively traveled to Nashville, Tennessee, and we had incomplete songs at that point, completely incomplete songs. And we finished them in the studio with Michael. During that process, he said, I think Mick Mars from Motley would love this tune. And then so he sends in, Mick to the studio, and that was a crazy, crazy experience to have him there. And then so that was how like the real formation of the band started. We wrote songs, we recorded. As soon as we arrived back to New Zealand, we were touring with Devil Skinner Like a Storm. Then COVID hit and everything just shut down. Just before that, we had recorded a couple of music videos. One of them, possibly the craziest idea I've ever come up with, which was, let's record a music video underwater for the song called Neanderthal. We actually trained to hold our breath for minutes at a time, trained for cold exposure, recorded a video underwater, which ended up being the best possible thing we could have ever done, because during this whole thing where like the whole world was shut down, we ended up on the desk of a manager in LA called Andy Gold, who had managed Linkin Park, Pantera, Rob Zombie, Guns N' Roses when it was just Axl's band. And he reached out and was like, guys, this is everything I love about rock and roll. Let's do something together. From there, we just wrote a whole bunch of songs. We recorded an album with Nick Roskilinieks in Nashville again. And he actually flew over to Hawke's Bay. So we had a Grammy Award-winning producer here in Hawke's Bay to finish the album. And then it was just it's been such a wild ride with all of that kind of stuff. But I don't know exactly how it happened, but all I know is we've all worked incredibly hard to make it happen.
Right. So I was trying to find what releases that you've done, and I had a bit of trouble doing that. I know that, of course, you have an EP, Set It Off, which came out in 2019. You mentioned another album. Was that the one, did it come out 2022? I was trying to find that one.
No, so here's the thing: is we recorded this album. It took a long, long time to get it done.
Okay.
For multiple reasons, and one of those is because of COVID and the it's one of those things to get US visas and all that kind of stuff is such a long rigmarole. And we first went over to record the first part of the album, and then everything was fine. We came back to New Zealand, but when we did that first part, we were on like work visa waivers because the US consulate in New Zealand was shut at the time. And then when we came back, our US attorneys were like, "Oh, we got plenty of time. We got 6 weeks, so we'll sort this out." However, the US consulate was so backed up that they couldn't see us. And then I got a message from my manager who said, "Call me when you wake up." So I called him and he said, "Good news, we got you some expedited, like visa petitions or whatever they call them. Bad news is that it's in Mexico in 2 days. So can you book some flights right now and get on a plane?" And then so we ended up being stuck in Mexico for a while. We had this crazy, crazy mission to actually get this album completed. And through that, we only started releasing singles from it in October last year. October was the first single, and then we've been January, February, March, and then so we'll have another one coming out soon. And then so it's been a little bit of a mission, but this album is something that we're incredibly proud of, and can't wait to share it with the world.
That's why I think I got a bit confused, because like there's the 2019 release, and then on your website and stuff, there's you can actually buy physical copies of that. But then there were other singles after that, and there was some mention of recording again in some Wikipedia thing, but there was no other album, and I was like, where's the fucking album? So that album's coming out at some point in the near future, is that correct?
Yeah, correct. So we're, of course, touring with Filter, which starts next week through New Zealand, Australia. May, we're touring with Bruce Dickinson from Maiden in Europe. And then it's at this point, we haven't set the exact date, just waiting for management and promotion, the PR and everything like that to set the date. But it's looking possibly a late June or early July release for the full album.
So I don't really have many other questions. We've actually pretty much touched on everything. Maybe if you could give me the dates for some of the upcoming shows, that might be handy.
Wednesday, April 3rd at the Power Station. That's with Filter, and who are doing their first headline show in over 20 years, or first headline tour in over 20 years. And then, and then after that, 5th in Melbourne, 6th in Sydney, 7th in Brisbane, 9th in Adelaide, and 10th in Perth. So anyone in Australasia, that's you guys can catch us there. Then we got a little bit of a break before we head over to Europe with Bruce Dickinson in May.
Right. You've got a new single coming out and a new video, so maybe we can talk about that as well.
The latest release that we did, it's like anything. I think any band always has a little bit of a battle of like, what songs we release first, and this single that we've released just now was actually most recently was potentially going to be the first single that we released. And so this is called KMTL, and we got a super cool video where we had a camera dolly track that was like in a perfect circle, so it was just constantly going around. And And so we've just released that one. The next song that we have to come up coming up very soon is called Learn to Crawl. And that one is, it's very cool because it's a very different kind of song. And I think that like people have seen us live recently with our headline shows know exactly what it sounds like, but people who haven't seen us live, I think they're going to be surprised by how this one sounds, because it's very different. There's a lot of harmonies, a lot of a slower sort of groove that I think shows a different side to the band that we haven't shown before. Of course, all of this is coming from the leading single, The Way Down, which we filmed the music video for on the top of the Auckland Sky Tower. I still can't believe that they let us do it, and the fact that they let me jump off the damn thing holding my guitar for the guitar solo. And then this whole release of singles is for this album something we've been very, very excited about. But the final release of the album that's really what we've been building to for a long time.
I think we've basically covered everything that I was going to ask you. Is there anything that you'd like to add at the end of the interview before we sign off?
Well, I mean, it's just not that. I guess the number one thing is just we're just so stoked with everything. Like everything that we've done so far has just been because we love rock music. We love playing it. We love performing it, and it's been really cool being recognized in places all around the world. We've been on US radio, we've been on Argentinian radio, we've been on Brazilian radio, Mexican radio, Australian radio, some New Zealand radio stations, and it's like having this like breadth of people who are picking up on us it feels a little bit surreal, because we are just four guys from Hawke's Bay, and it's just so much fun. Like we just having so much fun doing this. The fact that we've got these opportunities and these great tours, I think is only going to help blow this thing up even more. But we just continue riding and cannot wait to see what the future holds for us in this band.
Well, thanks for chatting with me tonight, mate. Best luck with the album when it finally drops. Best luck with the shows. Say hello to Bruce Dickinson for me. I'm a big fan of his.
Do, man.
And best of luck.
I appreciate it, Will. Thank you.
Say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a good night.
And thanks for watching.